Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon, and please consider subscribing. Okay, so in today's video I want to talk to you guys about how you can ventilate your silk parts of your full lace nets. Okay, so I've been posting videos about lace ventilation. I've been posting tutorials about lace ventilation. I actually have a lace ventilation series on my playlist, so you can check that out. And some persons have been asking about this part of the full lace net, if it's going to be normal, or if it's going to look good after ventilation. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video, and if you're interested, you can keep on watching. For those that have been wondering if the silk part looks natural after ventilation, I actually prefer the silk parts after ventilation to like the normal lace, because when you ventilate this part properly, it looks so much like your scalp and it looks so natural when ventilated properly. So I'm going to show you guys how I ventilate this part. Okay, I already have my stuff set up, and this is just a nylon bag that I use for ventilation. So I'm just going to take this out. Okay, so this cap, I have this cap available on my page for sale in case you're interested. This is the full lace net, and you can see how it looks. So I have it available on my page for sale at Wigs by Sharon. I'm going to also leave that in the description box. So first, I'm going to start by wearing the cap on my mannequin head. Thing that you want to do is to make sure that this part is properly stretched out, because that's the only way you can easily pick the holes or pick the lace rather. So you want to make sure it is properly stretched out, so you can stretch it out. You can stretch it out and use a T-pin or any kind of pin to hold it down, to hold down the lace. So I'm going to also do that for this other side. So if you don't stretch it out, picking the silk top will be very difficult. So you want to ensure it is properly stretched out, but you have to be careful so you don't rip your lace. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to bring it closer so you see that the holes are now very visible, and I can easily pick, I can easily pick the lace now. So guys, I went back to put my nylon bag on the mannequin head, so it's very easy for you guys to see what I'm doing. Okay, so now that we have all of this set up, we're going to start ventilating. Okay, so guys, I remember in my other ventilating videos that I told you guys that I ventilate diagonally, and so I only use that method of ventilation for the lace, for this part of the lace. But when it comes to ventilating the silk top, I use the vertical method of ventilation. That's I go with this direction instead of going with this direction. Okay, so the reason I do that is because I have noticed that, because then I used to use the diagonal method, but one day I decided to try the vertical method, which is the straight line method, and I noticed that the knots were very much smaller than when I ventilate diagonally. So what that means is when I ventilate diagonally, it tends to have bigger knots, but when you're using one or two strands of hair, it might be smaller. But because I use more than that amount of hair for this part of the lace, the knots were bigger. But when I ventilate using the vertical method, the knots are smaller irrespective of the amount of hair I'm picking. So that's why I have decided to stick with using this method rather than the diagonal method. And it also comes out well, it also looks as natural as the diagonal method. So I already have my hair and my ventilating needle in place, okay, and I'm going to start ventilating now. So you want to start from the very first line. You want to start from the very first line. You pick the hole. You pick the hole. You pick your hair. You drag it down to hold it with your thumb and index finger, and then you pull it out. Then you wrap the hair around the needle, and then you bring it out. So I already talked about this, like I already did this in my previous videos, but I'm just doing this again for the sake of those who haven't watched the video and they don't know how to do this, okay? But you can still go back to watch my video. Okay, so now I just did one ventilation, and this is like on the very first line, and so that's like the only hole I can see on this line. So I'll just assume that I'm done with that line and then go to the next line. So for this silk top parts, I tend to leave about 1 to 2 lines before going to the next line because it's very tiny, and if I should ventilate all of the lines and all of the holes, the hairs would be tightly spaced, and for me, I don't know about others, okay, that will look unnatural. So I tend to like leave at least a line or 2 lines and then move to the next line to continue ventilating. So we're going to count 2 lines, 1, 2, and move to the next line. So for the next line, you pick the first hole, you pick your hair, you drag it downwards, and then you bring it out, wrap it around your needle, and pull it out, okay? So that's this. So you can see how what's it called, how small the knot is. So I'm going to continue like that. So now I'm done with this line, I'll move on to the next line. So I'm just going to continue this way, and you can see how easy picking the lace is. If I didn't stretch it out the way I did initially, it would have been very difficult to pick the lace. So that's why you need to make sure that you stretch it out properly, okay? And if you're wondering the size of the mannequin head I'm using, this is the 24 inches mannequin head. So this normally would help you to stretch out the lace, but you just need to like stretch it out more so that you'll be ensure that it's properly stretched out. So I'm just going to continue ventilating, and I'll come back to show you guys what the end result looks like, so you see how natural this silk top looks after ventilation. So guys, this is how far I have gone, and this is what it looks like so far. You can see what it looks like. So that's all for today's video, guys. So if you like this video, guys, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. You can also save it to watch it later, and Also leave a comment in the comment section below. Please subscribe to my channel for more amazing content. Thanks for watching and bye.